Shut up and sit down.
In this lesson, it is my intention to show 4 simple principles that, if truly believed, will help you sell the only thing customers really want. It's not satisfaction, approval, gratification, or appreciation. It is respect. And it's the easiest thing to do. But most people are so busy with their agenda that they forget about the easiest, quickest, and most effective and efficient path to the sale. It is through the heart of a customer. The year was 1982. I was watching television with some college buddies, and the commercial I'm going to tell you about that came on TV is a terrific backdrop for the 4 principles I would like to teach you or remind you about concerning customer need, wants, and desires. So this commercial comes on television. It's set in a ritzy Arnaud's of New Orleans. Dinner's over. Diners are being set up for one of the great commercial advertisements of all time. As dessert is being served, someone pours for them a cup of delicious, rich, robust, deeply aromatic coffee. They are asked, "What do you think of our coffee?" Everyone on camera who has interviewed swears it's the richest, deepest, most delicious cup of coffee they've ever had. This is the coffee you would expect to be served at Arnaud's. It's suddenly revealed. You're not drinking freshly brewed coffee. You're drinking Folgers Crystal's instant coffee. Every one of those patsies says, "You're kidding, right? This can't be instant coffee." And they went on making that commercial using different restaurants around the world as the backdrop for the next 10 years or so. Now, I don't even know if you can buy Folgers Crystals today. I think you can probably still buy them in store. I don't know. I'm not a coffee snob. I tried it once. But why would all these people on the commercials, supposedly real-life stories, not actors, not actresses, why would they believe that this is great tasting coffee? There are 3 reasons of enormous significance as to why people will choose you over another salesperson down the street, because the parallels are so similar. Let's just have a little bit of fun. Okay, let's assume that you join me at Joel Robuchon in Las Vegas. It's one of the top 5 most expensive restaurants in Las Vegas, located in the ritzy mansion at the MGM Grand. Joel Robuchon is the only 3-time Michelin star rated restaurant in Las Vegas, one of the few with a 16-course menu. Careful attention is given to keeping things simple yet vibrant. That's Chef Robuchon's signature and his trademark style. It's out there front and center at this flagship dining space in Las Vegas. As possibly the best French restaurant in town, the dining experience at Joel Robuchon comes with one of the highest average check prices, too. Guests can expect to pay nearly $500 per person for this signature 16-course degustation menu. I said it, degustation menu, where guests will get a chance to experience every item carefully curated to culinary perfection. And that's before any discussion of a wine pairing to go along with your meal. I hear you. You say, "Mark, that's crazy. Nobody's going to eat in a restaurant that charges $500 per person." Really? Because the waiting list to get into that restaurant, which opened in 2017, is still 10 to 12 months long. People are willing to wait almost a year to pay over $500 a person to treat their taste buds in America's playland. In fact, one of the more popular desserts is called Les Sphères. It's made with, I quote, bubble sugar. It's called a bubble sugar sphere filled with blackberry yogurt sorbet, candied lemon, and a violet cream. I think that's a fancy way of saying sugary yogurt with blackberry, lemon, and purple Cool Whip. That's just how I see it. I could be wrong. Anyone? Your prices and fees are not just prices and fees. They are communicators and conveyors related to the quality of your services. Let me share 3 principles with you and I'm done today. The higher the price, the higher the quality. It's all about rationalization. But what is it that we rationalize? Well, you'll find yourself at Joel Robuchon's, and if you do, you could be having an appetizer of Woof Caviar. It's spelled Q-U-E-F. Just if you're wondering, it only costs you $495 for one serving. Have you ever had Woof Caviar that was bad? I mean, you read this is an amazing restaurant. You reserved over a year ago. You got your vacation on. You boarded a plane for Vegas. You rented your formal tux, which, by the way, you have to wear to go there. You got your best girl on your arm, and they bring you Folgers crystals. What are you going to say? You're going to say, good to the last drop. This is so rich. This must be mountain-grown coffee. You know exactly what I mean. By the way, they charge you $16 for that friggin' cup of coffee, and it tastes fabulous, even though it may not. Why? Because it's not the coffee you're experiencing, it's the brand, it's the restaurant, it's what the brand says you're supposed to experience. Brands change your perspective. Brands attract people. Brands establish the experience as amazing, special, and unique. They do something else. The brand creates the customer experience that results in a long-term relationship. Here's the proof of that. We have people in our book of business who are paying 2 and 3 times what they would if they were with Company Z down the street. Now, they've been with our company for 20, 30, 40 years in some cases, and they will never change. They can rationalize anything related to what they pay because they really believe that the higher the price, the better the quality. And that brings me to a second principle. Not only is it true that to many of the people that we sell to, the higher the price, the higher the quality, but secondly, consider that the greater the belief, the greater the effect. The greater the belief, the greater the effect. You see, it's all about suggestion. What suggestions are we making to our customers? Now, we're talking about the power of the brand here, and if we are, you don't need to look any further than Extra Strength Rogaine. This story, although it didn't happen to me, it certainly could have. I tried Rogaine. Now, you might find that hard to believe, shocking, but when Reagan was president, I tried it, and it didn't do anything but grow peach fuzz. I'm serious, after 6 bottles, $223, and 1/64 of an inch of peach fuzz grown on my noggin, I finally gave up using it. I lost my hair quickly. Hair went to, hero to zero in less than a year, and I've fully embraced the look ever since. I've shaved back before it was cool to shave your head. But the following story actually happened to a guy named Harry. Harry was reading a magazine, and he found a one-page advertisement which read, hair loss. Call 1-800 blah, blah, blah. 21-day free sample. Be part of our great success story here at Rogaine. Harry, like most of us, had an ego, pretty big, and he had something else most thinning men tend to have in common. A comb-over. A bad one. He called the number. He identified himself. He said, I want to be part of the success story. And they said, Harry, you're in luck. This is the last day to sign up for the market test for this brand new product, Extra Strength Rogaine. Wasn't even on the market yet. Harry, this is what we'd like for you to do. We'd like for you to take the vial of liquid that we're going to be sending you, rub it on your scalp for 45 minutes, and go to bed. Do that for the next 21 days from today, and then call us to let us know about your hair gain. Now, I told you I tried the stuff, and I woke up from a horrible nightmare one night. This is a true story. I dreamed that I'd grown hair on my fingertips. That was a bad dream. But Harry used this product exactly as it was prescribed for 21 days. He went to the bathroom, he'd look in the mirror, and he declared, it worked. I've grown more hair. Now, this guy's celebrating like Tom Brady after another Super Bowl win. But what happens next is the cute part of the story. Harry called the 1-800 number like he was supposed to. He identified who he was. he certainly planned on ordering more bottles of this stuff for his friends, and he said, "Hey, this is Harry from Minneapolis. It's my 21st day on the product, and I've actually grown more hair. This stuff is fantastic." And he's interrupted by the receptionist, who asks him, "By the way, what is your case number?" He gets back on the phone. He says, "Well, 57065. I can't wait to order more of this stuff for my friends. This stuff is awesome." And the woman on the phone says, "Harry, I've got some news for you." Harry mumbles, "Yeah?" She continued, "You're in the control group." And Harry knew immediately what that meant. Harry went into total denial. He continued, "So what exactly does that mean?" And the woman said, "Well, that means the stuff you've been using was pure vegetable oil and water." Apparently, the woman on the other end of the phone was accustomed to dealing with people like Harry, because she said, "Well, Harry, if it's any consolation to you, don't worry. 45% of the people in the control group reported hair gain just like you." We always get these numbers when we do these studies. What's the obvious next question? Well, what percent of the people that use the real stuff grew hair? And that was reported to be about 55%. Now, you didn't ask for it, you didn't pay for it, but I'm about to offer to you some unsolicited, free marketing advice for some of us that have tried this product. If you're interested in growing hair on your head, just go buy some olive oil and water. All we really want to do is feel better about ourselves. We want to change our experience, and if it doesn't work, you got the extra ingredients left over for salad dressing, you know? Our minds are so incredibly powerful. I was president of my sorority in college. Thankfully, it was the vice president who was responsible for sorority initiations this particular year. Well, we had the most seemingly harmless initiation event in the history of the school. Every class before us had performed the same boring acts of, swallowing the goldfish. I mean, the most boring stuff. But we had a couple fun ones that would, just be a lot of fun for the new freshmen coming into the sorority. We blindfold a piece of peach over their lips and blindfold them, and they would think it's a goldfish. And I saw a few guys hurl over that one. That's a lot of fun. Well, here's the one that got us banned for life. No more freshman initiation after this one. And I saw this one with my own eyes. We had two irons, two common irons for pressing clothing in the room. One was on high, putting off steam. The other behind the victim in a bath of ice water. Eyes open, we asked him to remove his shirt. Now, these guys would do just about anything to get into Phi Beta Chi and become part of the bulldog tradition. So the shirt got ripped off immediately. He's smiling until he feels the heat of that iron and he sees the steam rising from it. Drum roll in the background. We quickly blindfold him and immediately pressed a cold iron to his chest. Yeah, that guy ended up in the hospital with third-degree burns. That put an end to old-fashioned hazing. He literally was treated for burns to his body, and within a few days, it was gone, but the receptors in his brain told him that he had been burned. I saw this guy maybe 10, 12 years ago, and he still has a slight iron tattoo on his body. It's really small. We keep up with him on Facebook. We call him the original Iron Man. Now, we should have been sued. We probably should have been imprisoned for something like that. We had performed that harmless hazing prank on dozens of guys in the past before, and it never produced that kind of result. We just scared the life out of those guys. Here's the point. The mind is so incredibly powerful and can be controlled by the weakest suggestions. What are you suggesting to your customers? We're always telling them stuff, asking them stuff. I'm challenging you today with this. What are you suggesting? Well, let's go back to Arnaud's in New Orleans for just a moment. Just one more time. You've just been served another delicious cup of freeze-dried coffee crystals, and you think it's the best coffee you've ever had in the world, when it's really not. You can go anywhere in the world and be served freeze-dried coffee anywhere in the world in fine bone china over Irish linens, listening to Pacelli in the background over $100,000 synthetic sound system, and an amazing thing happens in your mind related to your perception of coffee. It just tastes fabulous, even if it doesn't. Here's the point. Please, we think with our eyes. We think with our eyes. That brings me to our third principle, and I'm finished. Not only is it true that in the minds of people that we're selling to, the higher the price, the higher the quality, the greater the belief, the greater the effect. But thirdly, the deeper the perception, the deeper the opinion. It's all about perception. What perceptions make a difference? Please come back in our next episode. Join me. We'll continue with Part B, and I think it's maybe the most important principle of all three. I'll see you in just a moment, team.